All right, thank you so much everyone for joining this morning. This is actually our 1-year anniversary call of the All Things Teams in Government. For those of you that have been on before, thank you for sticking around with us for this year, and for those of you that might be new, welcome. We started this call series a year ago to specifically give more feature content around GCC specific things because we knew that as features were rolling out, there wasn't as much clarity. So that is the intention of this call series. As time has gone on, we have loved working with all of you. So specifically for this session, we wanted to cover breakout rooms and Microsoft Store team training. And Darby, are you still able to see my screen?
Yep, I can see it.
Okay, for me, it looks like it went down for a second, so making sure. Okay, it should be showing now. Sorry for the technical difficulties there. I want to make sure that everyone online is able to see too. So specifically for this session, we'll be covering breakout rooms, and we have Jessica from the Microsoft Store team, and this year she is specifically the lead for all GCC content. So with that, I will go ahead and get started. So we'll kick off with some introductions. My name is Bridget Ballard, and I'm a customer success manager based out of the Pacific Northwest, and my home office is in Bellevue, Washington.
And hi everyone, my name is Darby O'Brien. I am also a customer success manager. I am based out of Reston, Virginia.
So we're going to cover breakout rooms first, which is rolling out now. So some of you should see it in your tenant. For those of you that don't, it will be to you very shortly. And then second, we will have Jessica present on our Microsoft Store customer success trainings offerings and everything that's been new in that world this year. So the longly awaited Teams Breakout Rooms is here, and we've had so much fun this week trying it out with our organization. Our team internally has just had so much fun playing around with all the different features and everything that can be done. So for those of you that may not be familiar with what Breakout Rooms does, it gives you the ability to first create and start your breakout room, conduct the session, and return to the main meeting. So essentially 3 easy steps, but there are some nuances when going through those. So we are going to cover an entire live demo on how to specifically set up the breakout room, as well as call people back to the meeting. And we'll also show you what it looks like for the meeting organizer. So something that is really cool about the breakout room is that essentially it is a Teams meeting. So we've created the UI to be able to pull you into that breakout room. But once you're in the room, it essentially is just a Teams meeting. So all of the intelligent features that we have in there, you're able to use. When you're going out and trying it out with your organization, definitely try the together mode and the grid screen just to play around with all the different features in there. And lastly, before I hand it over to Darby, we have a few different use case examples that we've been seeing across our organizations that have been popular. One being breakout discussions. If you're in the main meeting and there's a specific topic, breaking your users out into the sidebar discussions so that you can come back into the main meeting and discuss. We've also seen it be great for brainstorming sessions. So similar to discussions, just allowing people in your organization to have those sidebar discussions. And lastly, learning, which has become increasingly popular across our EDU as well as government space. We know for you all, when everything went remote, training was one of the top things that you also had to move remote. So now with breakout rooms, we hope that we can provide some additional capabilities for those trainings to make them more involved and allow some increased features for your students. And so with that, I'm going to hand it over to Darby before we do our demo to walk through meeting organizer features versus meeting attendee features.
Awesome, thanks, Bridget. So the way that Bridget and I kind of thought about this when we were organizing our topic for today is kind of in two buckets here, right? We have meeting organizer features, but we also have meeting participants that are joining the call and are going to have a different experience. So we kind of wanted to break this out into two buckets here. We're going to demo the organizer side and demo the participant side. But just looking into some of the features that you have available to you as the organizer, you have that ability to split those participants into rooms, and you can either do it automatically, meaning that teams will kind of divide up your attendees, or manually, meaning you kind of hand pick who goes in those rooms. You can then edit those rooms further, so you can switch attendees around once rooms have been created. Even if you decided to have those rooms created automatically, you can kind of move them around. You yourself as the meeting organizer can jump into any of those rooms and pop in and out of breakout rooms to help sessions. You can send out announcements to every single room. So things like, hey, 25 minutes left, or everyone get ready to come back. Anything that should go out to the entire group, you can send a message once to everybody. And then from there, we realized that breakout rooms fits the bill for a lot of different scenarios. So there's actually even further customization to help create the environment you're looking for. We're going to see more of that in Bridget's demo of the organizer view. From a participant side, so as a meeting participant, when you are in breakout rooms, you have the ability to message the organizer from your room. So even if the meeting organizer is not physically in your breakout room with you, you can still mention them and ask them questions, and they can respond. You also will receive those alerts and announcements right inside of your breakout room in the chat, and we're going to show you exactly what that looks like. You have the ability to fully utilize your breakout room like a normal Teams meeting. So you can record, share files, chat, whatever it may be. They did a really nice job of keeping that consistent. And then you can always bring your content back into the main meeting room. You still have access into the main meeting chat. So that is a great feature as well. And again, there's of course other features there inside of the meetings that we're going to cover once we walk through the demo here. So a couple things we wanted to point out before we hop into that demo is there are some things to consider before starting breakout rooms. First and foremost, don't panic if you don't see breakout rooms right now in your Teams tenant. It's rolling out right now. So you should see it in the next couple of weeks, maybe this week or next, but we did just kind of want to cover it to give you a look, and especially if some of you see it now. But first and foremost, you need to be in the new Teams meeting experience to see the breakout rooms icon. So if you have not yet done that, we've got a slide coming up next to show you how to do that, so you can take care of that after the call. The other thing to consider here is if you are IT or a Teams admin on the call, there's a little bit of prep work. We included all the links of everything that needs to be enabled. It's a very short list, but just want to call it out. Third here, all participants need the latest version of Teams, as well as the organizer, or the organizer will not be able to move those participants into breakout rooms. So if you need to update your Teams client, please do so. It also may be a reason that you're not yet seeing breakout rooms. And then finally, only the meeting organizer is going to see those breakout rooms, that icon. So if you have joined meetings this week and you think, well, I didn't see breakout rooms in any of those meetings, kind of think back, did I organize the meeting? Otherwise, you won't see that icon unless you were physically the meeting organizer. And then this slide here is just kind of a look on how to turn on the new meeting experience. We covered this a couple months ago, so I don't want to spend too much time on it for the sake of getting to the demo. But of course, we're going to send these slides out to everyone, so you have this here if you need to enable that for you. And with that, I'm going to pass it on to Bridget to start the organizer side of the demo, and then we'll keep chugging along here.
Thanks, Darby. So as we said, I'm going to be playing a video from our education team. They created a wonderful demo of breakout rooms as it was released. So I love when Mike did it. So I'm going to go ahead and use his content because it's so wonderful. So as you can see, he joins a meeting as he normally would. You can see that he is the organizer of this meeting. Therefore, he is going to be the only one that sees the breakout room symbol. It pops into the meeting pane view. As he joins now, you can see everyone within the meeting. Now, as he goes to set up his breakout rooms, you'll notice it sits right next to the raised hand with the two little squares. And as he goes into it, he will choose how many rooms he wants. And it goes all the way up to 50. So he's going to choose 4, but you have the availability to choose more. And you can either automatically or manually assign people. Automatically is just going to evenly spread out everyone that has joined the session, and manually you'll need to go in and actually assign people to each. So he's going to choose automatically. And now, so by default, they're all named room 1, room 2, room 3, room 4, and the number next to it shows how many people are in there. He can go in and add a room if he'd like, but let's say you want to rename the room based on the topic that's being covered. So you simply click on the 3 ellipses, rename, and then it will simply change the name of the room. So now that he has them labeled how he likes, blue, red, green, and yellow, he's going to go click into each of the breakout rooms to see who is in there. So these rooms, and let's say, Adam shouldn't be in blue. I want to put him in green. So he can click on Adam, assign, and then move him to the green room. Now keep in mind, this is just what it looks like during the setup. You'll notice that all of the breakout rooms, so these are not open yet, and he's still making the settings for them. In room settings, you can automatically move people into open rooms, or you can have that box unchecked. And let me just pause for a sec to explain that. So when it says automatically move people into rooms, what it's going to give you is an option for either the attendees to opt in or opt out. If you say automatically, it's going to push everyone into the room. But if you don't have that on, it will give the person the option to join the room or not. So if that is turned off, it will simply say, you're going to be put in a breakout room. Do you want to join now? Yes or no? If you want to recreate rooms, you can shuffle all the rooms up, and this will just randomize all the people within the room. So with that, it's time to get started. He's going to click start, and you'll see in a moment change all of the rooms to opening, and you'll slowly see people pop into each of those rooms. So let's give it 1 second, and there we go. You see how it says opening with the 3 dots, and soon you'll see everyone slowly leave. So what happens if somebody joins the meeting late? So Anne joined late and she's not in a room. So since Mike is still in the main meeting, he can go to Anne. At the top, it says assign participants. He can choose Anne and click assign. And he's gonna go ahead and put her in the green room. So now Anne is in her room. And she'll go ahead. Now I'm going to pause for a moment just so I can speak through this clearly. If you want to make an announcement, you can go to the 3 ellipses. When you make an announcement, this is going to send this to all of the breakout rooms. So you don't have to go into each individual one and say, and repeat your message. This allows you to say it all at once. So he's going to say, start brainstorming, send, and now it's sent out to each of the rooms. Now, currently, Mike is sitting alone in this breakout room, or sorry, in the main meeting. So Mike is currently alone in the main meeting, and he has the option to either stay here the whole time and just either wait for people to be done with the breakout room, or let's say, he's a teacher and he's going to do something while his students are talking, or he has the ability to pop into each of the breakout rooms. So he can go over to the open sign. When you hover over the open, there's a 3 ellipses that opens up that allows you to join the room. So as I click play, the next point in this will have him actually join the room. So this is what it looks like inside the room. As you can see, normal Teams meeting, you can use your chat, your participant panel, just like you normally would, and he can start the recording as well. He can start the live captions, and it looks exactly like a normal meeting. So now he's inside the meeting, and he chose to use together mode. So this is just one of the breakout rooms. Mike was able to pop in here, and he sits in it like you would in a normal Teams meeting. And so he chose to use together mode. Like I mentioned before, you can use all the new features inside of breakout rooms as well. So in the interest of time, I am going to send it over to Darby so she can go through what it looks like as an attendee view. This video is great, but it is a little bit long, so we will post this so that you can watch it all the way through. In the interest of time, we chose to do the next part in screenshot so that you're able to see what it looks like as an attendee. So Darby, I'll hand it over to you. And we've got about 5 minutes before we hand it over to Jessica. I know we're running a little bit over.
Awesome. Thank you, Bridget. So also, we kind of want to take a look here at what you're seeing as a participant joining a breakout room. So step one, being a participant of a meeting that will have breakout rooms, you're just going to join the main meeting exactly like you would any other day, right? You're going to hop into the meeting, decide your audio and video settings, and just kind of hang out in the main meeting. Step two, at this point in time, you're just going to want to hang tight while the organizer is setting up the breakout rooms, right? So there's really no action required from you besides waiting to be prompted to join those calls. When the organizer opens the breakout rooms, depending on the settings that they choose, you're going to see one of two options, and I've highlighted those as A and B over here. So option A, if the meeting organizer has selected to automatically move you into the meeting and into the breakout room and automatically have you return, that means when they select open rooms, you're going to get this 10-second countdown, and then you're going to be forced into the breakout room. And then when they close the room, you're going to be given this 10-second countdown, and you're going to be moved back into the main meeting. If they give you the ability to choose, so maybe they set up the breakout rooms, but I don't want to move everyone automatically. We're going to do that at the second half of the call or whatever it may be. You'll see that you've been added to a breakout room, and then you have the decision, do I join now or do I join later? So those are two settings there that are decided by the organizer. So these are the two things you may see once those breakout rooms are spun up. Looking ahead into what we actually see when we are in the breakout room. So here's a view, a screenshot of Bridget in a breakout room alone. Ideally, there would likely be more users in the breakout room with you, but just to kind of look through the settings. When we click on the participants pane, we see who's in the meeting. So we see Bridget. We see my name. I was the meeting organizer. So even though I'm not in that call with Bridget at that time, she could call me in. She could chat with me. So if she needed assistance from the meeting organizer, they're very easy to reach. And then what that arrow is pointing to, which is essentially nothing, is showing you where it kind of took away that ability to call in users. So that is a feature that does not exist in breakout rooms for a specific reason, right? You don't want your breakout rooms to have the ability to call in other users or others in your organization. So it's just kind of forcing whoever was assigned to the breakout room, that's in the call. They can't add people once that breakout room has begun. The organizer of the meeting can, just not the participants. Looking ahead into the chat section here, so what we see with that first arrow is that is a look at what an announcement looks like from a participant's view. So when I send out an announcement as the organizer and it goes to each meeting, it's going to show up in the chat there as an important message. And then that second arrow there is pointing to Bridget @mentioning me as the meeting organizer. So even when I wasn't in the call, she could actually @mention me and ask me to join, or she could call me in. And then you can see there I had joined the meeting. And then finally here, what we have is a look into the ellipses in the call, just to kind of show you some of the options you still have in a breakout room. So some of these arrows just kind of pointing to the features that we typically use. So those background effects, the ability to record, to turn on the live captions, all of that still remains. So it's pretty much exactly like a typical Teams meeting in your breakout room. One thing that I did point out that is grayed out is the meeting details. The reason for that is your meeting details typically include a join link, so they could be highlighted and sent on. And we don't want others that haven't been assigned to this group to be able to join the meeting, which is why that feature is likely going to be grayed out for you. With that, we have included some more resources here. So we have a step-by-step screenshot demo. It's a great demo. It has text next to each screenshot to walk you through how to do this. We have attached the GCC setup and specification. So if you are IT or you are an IT admin on this call, that's a great link for you to check out. And then finally, we included a link that has a ton of breakout room resources for teams. It's going to have things like a video demo, any public announcements that have been made. That's a great one to check out as well when we send this deck. And then next up here, we just have some commonly asked questions. We're of course going to add your questions from the call to this FAQ before we post the deck for everyone. I realize we went fast today, so please reach out with your questions, and we're going to make sure you have the resources to be able to utilize breakout rooms to their fullest potential. But for the sake of time today, we're going to move on to our next topic, which is actually about the Microsoft Store teams and all of the things they have to offer. We realize that Teams keeps pushing out a lot of new features. There's a lot of things to keep an eye on, which is exactly why we wanted to include Jessica in this session. So Jessica can actually help schedule those trainings to keep this more manageable for your organization. I'm going to go ahead and let her introduce herself and give her spiel, but thanks, Jessica, for hopping on with us today.
No problem. Thank you so much. I really appreciate the opportunity. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and I'm going to walk through the program. I'm also going to have the Q&A box open just in case there are some questions. Again, please feel free to use that Q&A box for any questions that you do have in regards to the program I'm going to be speaking about today. So thank you. So my name is Jessica Turnitz. I do work for Microsoft, and I support the Customer Success Training Program, which is a part of our Microsoft Retail Store initiative that helps our customers on their digital transformation journey. We deliver hands-on, very catered agendas on our M365 products, as well as going into the Power Platform. Like Darby and Bridget mentioned before, this is technology. We're constantly growing, always updating, always getting better. And that's where our team really can come in and help you understand how to leverage those products and really use it to the best of your abilities. I also have put my email address here if any of you are interested to learn more about the program and how you can leverage it within your agency or organization. Please feel free to do so. We highly recommend that you engage with your account team, and they will be able to pull us in as well. I'm also going to put on my subtitles. Here we go. So this is a very high level overview of the Customer Success Training Program. Like many of you, you are in a different cloud environment than many others, and we understand those nuances, and we wanted to make sure that everything that we do train you on is applicable within the GCC Sovereign Cloud. This program is complimentary to you as a Microsoft customer. It is at no cost. No, there's no hidden fees. There's no underlying, there's got to be something. There isn't. And we really want to support you, and we like to be a part of that journey, however it looks. Our program is approximately 60 minutes to about 90. Again, there is no maximum requirement. The minimum is 60, and we usually see that sweet spot around 60 to 90, which is why I recommended that. Prior to our current situation, we did do in-person training where we would actually go on site and deliver these trainings to you in person. We now, just like many of you, have taken everything remote and virtual, and we are delivering this at scale. Currently, I have 5 other peers, and I personally oversee 109 trainers. Collectively, we have 652 trainers a part of this program. So scaling is never a problem. This is just an example of, since we were talking about teams, right? Breakout rooms, they're coming, and we're ready to support you in that. Right now, this is some of the teams offerings that we currently offer. Now, I'm just going to say this, and this is my opinion. The we do have leveling systems, L100, L200. Some people consider this basic and advanced. Personally, I'm not a fan of that because what my advanced is may not be the same for Bridget or Darby. So just to kind of level set on that. These are some of the objectives. Again, everything is customized. We want to make sure that we're teaching and training all of your end users, whether it is department or business unit. We want to make sure that it is applicable. We don't want to show anybody anything that you may not have. This is something that I'm also super proud about, and I personally helped create the content for. Accessibility is one of those things that many of us never really thought about necessarily unless it directly affected us, or we worked with individuals that were affected by it. But what we're seeing is more and more individuals with disabilities, whether they're visible, hidden, or even temporary, are needing to understand how to leverage technology to the best of their ability during these during a certain circumstance. So we have created these 3 agendas that you can leverage. The other thing I'd like to mention is not on here, but it is coming out. It is how to create accessible content within M365. This is something that we highly encourage managers, department managers, IT directors, IT teams, as well as possibly the HR department to leverage to really understand how you can take control over what's being viewed to make sure everyone is included and it's accessible. I'm going a little bit fast because I am aware of the time. Again, any questions you have, please feel free to put that in the Q&A. Again, an example, most common, we're really focusing on teams. This is where most people start. And what we mean by the basics is, how do I use this purple thing? And what is in it? Then we kind of can go and look up through this journey and go into a more deeper dive. And why I like to point out these lines is this is where we can debrief. This is where we work directly with you and say, what worked? What didn't work? How was our attendance? And then we can make and pivot to make any adjustments that we need to. Again, I wanted to come back to saying about the leveling system. Teams L100 is what I like to call getting to know features and functions. Our L200 is a more of how do I leverage teams to be more communicative, productive, and collaborative. Once we go through that L100 and 200, there are many different avenues that some of our customers kind of go through. Again, you are not subject to just using these. There are so many other applications out there that we are able to train you on, but just to give you the art of the possible in a shot. So I want to say thank you very much. Again, this program is complimentary, and if you are interested in leveraging the program, please connect with your Microsoft account team. I also will go back just in case anybody missed it and you have any questions about the program before you are thinking about engaging. This is my email address. Again, my name is Jessica Chernitz. Thank you so much for having me, and I look forward to supporting you and your organizations, hopefully in the near future. Back to you, Bridget and Darby.
Thanks, Jessica. We have one quick question before we pop off. Where do you find the training portal and page? So we can share some of the things that Jessica posted today, but do you have some best practices for how they can get in contact with you and the trainers?
Yep, absolutely. So unfortunately, we have a portal, but the portal is internal only. However, the things that I had just shown you, we are able to share out. Again, when it comes to requesting a training or really wanting to know a little bit more, please work directly with your account team. If you don't know who your account team member is, not a problem. That's why I have my email address. We can work together and figure out how to get to you, and we kind of go from there. We call it a discovery process.
Awesome, and thank you so much, everyone, for asking your questions. In the interest of time, we will answer as many as we can just in the chat. And anything that we didn't get to, we always post all of the questions and answers. So Jessica, thank you so much for being on today. And everyone, thank you for joining. We know we went a little bit fast. There's tons of fun features in breakout rooms we wanted to show you, so it was hard for us to cut them down, but we will be releasing everything. And with that, we wish you a wonderful Friday and have a great weekend, everyone.